Hi! Alright, so I asked if you guys wanted a little video on how I prep for whenever I start one of my counted cross stitch kits. So I'm just going to show you really quick what I do when I'm starting and prepping for a counted cross stitch kit. So, step 1, you choose your amazing counted cross stitch kit. And as you all know, the vote was for the Little Mermaid. So I get that kit, and the first thing I do is I like to separate out all the floss. And I've seen a lot of people put them on those little card thingies, or they keep the cardstock things to keep the whole, like they're stuck, like, I can't talk today, sorry guys. The little, I already cut my nuts, so that's why I'm trying to look for one, and I can't figure out what to call them. But these little cards, I have my Beauty and the Beast one next to me. These little cards where it has all the holes and it has all the descriptions and the numbers of what they are. I like to cut all of them up, and what I will do is I number all of them 1 through whatever, and it's not card, because with these kits, as you know, they have 3 cards, right? You get 3 in each kit. And I don't put card 1, slot 1. I just number them 1 through. And with Little Mermaid, I think it's like 77 colors. Okay, peeps? 77 colors for this Little Mermaid kit. So I like to use baggies. I found that that is the best way to keep the string, because you're going to pull it apart. And I know also some people like to pull apart each individual one of these before they actually start. Sorry, no. I've got coloring to do, and I would much rather be coloring my pattern than figuring this out. But what I do is I number all of mine. So you see you've got 1, all of them. Sorry, I can't quite see if my camera can see. And then I keep them all on a little binder hook, or one of these little hook thingies, rings, whatever you want to call them. So I keep them all on those, and then I actually keep, I'm going to open one up real fast. I actually keep the string inside the baggie. I keep it on the card, and then it also still has the description on it and everything. So it's still going to say hole 1, 6149, white 3 strands. So it's still going to say all of that, so that I know this really is the right color that I'm looking for. And then on my color chart, because like I said, I do 1 through, in this case, 77. So on my color chart, which I haven't written on just yet because I'm still working on getting it scanned so that everything works. So then I'll take my color chart, hold on, and I will actually put my numbers that I wrote on my baggies on here. So obviously the first card, all the numbers stay the same, right? So that's going to be 1 through 26. But then when you move to card 2, which is on this side, I have that as a second little ringlet. So then I know that's the second card. And those are actually numbers 27 through 52. And then obviously there's a third card. So then that third card is actually 53 through 77. Then, after I've done all of that, I keep them all in, this is so cheap looking, but this is what I do, and I found that this is the best way to go about it, for me. And then I put them all in a beautiful Tupperware container. Very fancy, I know, right? And it's just in chronological order, so I can always find them. This is what I do, especially, it's really nice when, like, I'm looking down, and I want to see what I'm looking at, and I can just flip through it really, really easy. That's what I like to do. So that's the first thing I do. I get it out of the way because it's a pain in the butt. The next step that I will do is coloring. So my mom taught me how to cross stitch when I was 8 years old. And how she showed me how to do it, and it's just always worked best for me, is, and I haven't started coloring my pattern in yet, because like I said, I'm still trying to figure out how to scan it and composite it so I can share the pattern on our Facebook group. But what I will do, and I'm so much of a nerd, that I go in rainbow order when I use my colors. This is just the system that I've developed over the many years of doing my counted cross stitching. But I will start with, and I'll just pick a color at random, and usually I'll pick the ones that have the medium amounts of threads. So something with like 11 strands. It'll have like 11 strands. Sorry, my battery's dying. It'll have like 11 strands. So there's going to be a significant amount, but it's not going to be the whole pattern. And I'll color that one with red. And then I'll move to the next one that I decide and color that one with orange. And I like to use, obviously there's going to be more than one red. And so I get the 50 pack of the Crayola pencils, and I'll just color in everything. I'm sure you saw pictures of my Lady and the Tramp patterns when I was done coloring with them. Hold on, let me go grab that, and then I can show you what it looked like after I colored it all. Okay, so after I've colored my patterns, this is typically what they look like. So I can really see the difference between two different patterns. And when I lay it out flat, I can really tell what the difference is. Here, let me try to take my camera so you can see it a little bit better. So that is what it'll look like when I'm looking at it. So I can see pictures, I can see things a little bit better. It's just a little bit of a tool my mom taught me many, many years ago when I was first doing counted cross stitch. This is probably the longest part of my prep work, especially on these big kits. It'll easily take me a week or two because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. The camera does not want to play fair. I'm sorry, guys. Now, the next step that I will do is I tape off my cloth. I know some people like to stitch it. I knew one lady that actually liked to burn it. I thought that was really strange. And I tried that once, and it was kind of scary. I mean, the whole thing didn't go up in flames, but I didn't really like doing it that way at all. So I will take, sorry, my needle is in the cloth at the moment, so I don't lose them, because I don't know about you, but I lose my needles all the time. I always have to keep spares everywhere I go. So I get just masking tape. Mine's filthy because I've had it for years. But I'm just going to take masking tape, and then I'm going to tape the edges. Oh, what's nice, see, this one has an edge that I don't have to worry about. Nice. But I'll just take it, go along the edge, and I do the half so that when I'm done, I just fold it over and it's all taken care of. So I'll just take it. Sorry, my camera keeps dropping. I'm really sorry. But I'll take it, like I said, I tape it all the way, and then I'll fold it half over, and then it's all taped off so that my edges don't fray. Although I've noticed when I've been doing a pattern for about 2 years, all the tape falls off anyway. But like the glue from the tape stays on there, so it doesn't fray as much. It's interesting that what happens. Now, I also know some people, they'll start from the bottom and work up. That's not how my mom taught me, and I just do the way my mom taught me, and it's just how I do it. So I will fold this in half, which it already comes to me pre-folded lengthwise. Then I will fold it here, these other corners like this, fold it all the way. And of course the cloth is always super stiff when you're first working with it. And I'm going to hold on to this center square. And I sometimes will, while I'm coloring, I'll let this sit like a heavy candle on top of it for a couple days so that I always know where that center square is. So I know my center square. This isn't tic-tac-toe. The center square is going to be right here. So I know that's where I'm going to start. That's where I will start all of my stitches. And then of course I reference my pattern. And in the patterns, I haven't looked at this one very much lately yet. Sorry guys. But I will find, because they always have that thick, solid line where the center of the pattern is in most patterns. I think it's on that page. Not very prepared, guys. Story of my life. Alright, so here in Little Mermaid, there's this little arrow right there. Can you see it? Okay, I can see it, so you can see it. So it starts there, and then the other one is right there. So then I'll draw a light line with just a regular lead-based pencil to find that middle. And then that's where I know I'm going to start. And then I just start stitching. And I figured out when I started posting my counted cross-stitch progress to Instagram that I do mine a little differently from everybody else. I didn't know this, but you have to remember, when I started doing counted cross-stitch, there was no social media. The internet didn't even exist. I was 8 years old. Well, it didn't exist in homes, I should say. So I just did what my mom taught me, and how my mom did it, I don't remember exactly how she did stitches, but I didn't like the way she did it because it was too slow in my opinion. And if I was going to do one color, I didn't want to have to use that same color over and over and over and over and over. So I found one color, and usually I will pick one color that's throughout the whole pattern, and I'll try and get that whole one done. And then I just go down the list. And that's what, because some people ask me, well, how do you decide which color to do next? It's right there in your key, and that's typically what I will do. And then I will do my French knots after I've done all the squares, all of the actual cross stitching. And then after I do my French knots, because I hate French knots. I don't know about you guys, but I hate French knots. And if you don't know what they are, I'll keep posting videos throughout my journey as well, not just my pictures on Instagram. And you can see how I do French knots, because I know there's multiple ways to do French knots. And then the last leg of everything is when I do my back stitching. And then after I do my back stitching with these big patterns, with my small ones, I don't worry about it so much. But with my big patterns, I comb through the whole thing to make sure I haven't missed a single stitch. And I did notice, like in my Lady and the Tramp, some of the squares were completely empty. So I went ahead and just put a stitch in there that I thought fit, because I don't like having a random white square that shouldn't be there. Like, it totally sticks out like a sore thumb, and that's going to bug me once I frame it and put it on a wall and I want to admire it. So that's how I do my prep for all my counted cross-stitch kits. I just have to finish compositing this Little Mermaid one that I have with all the different scans. And then I'm going to start another journey on another big counted cross-stitch. I might be a little crazy. It's still be to decided. Bye.